So Mickey has a question. What kind of things go into the recycle bin?
That's a great question. So let's go back. Let's go back to our site. And I'm going to go to all my site content. And we're going to go back to that list that we just created of inventory that we were just in a minute ago. We're going to go to list. We're going to go to list settings. And we're going to delete the entire list. Now we're getting rid of the candles and the quantities, okay? Right. It's always really good when you click this link to look right here and go, oh yeah, I'm in the right spot, okay? So I'm going to delete this list. And it's in the recycle bin. So the answer to what kinds of things go are entire lists, entire libraries, entire subsites. Those go. It's all of something, not not 2 columns out of this, but the whole thing. And it will sit there for a little bit of time, and that's based on settings that are set. Excuse me. Those are based on server settings, how long this is actually going to stay here. But if I want it back, because right now it's gone, okay, if I want it back, I can check it, restore it, and I will restore inventory, and we will get it back. Now there's nothing in the recycle bin. And it's back. If I go look at all my site content, my inventory is back again.
Great.
I'm not really big on telling users in particular about the recycle bin because they imagine that the recycle bin, they have an imagination of how the recycle bin works that often is sort of inaccurate. I know sometimes when folks are learning about Outlook, people will say, go ahead and delete anything you want because it goes to the recycle bin. But you don't actually get sole management of your recycle bin. If something were to happen and there's a virus or there's a need for more server space, your IT folks can push one button and all of your recycle bins are kind of, cleared out. So recycle bins aren't a good place to save things. They're on their way to the curb. They're just like your trash can.
Right. You read my mind, Jenny. That's a caution I was going to give them as well.
Yeah, I don't tell users that about the recycle bin here because they really need to understand exactly how it works, and they think, well, in Outlook, if I delete something, it always goes to the recycle bin. Not true here, as we just saw.
Right. So Dawn had a follow-up question, which I think is a follow-on to you deleting that part number column. She wants to know if you're able to hide a column, which would be a good option if you decide you don't want it in your view.
Sure, and this is more about creating views, which we talked about a little bit previously, but right. Every view that you have control over. So let's go back to that inventory. And I'm actually going to modify this again and throw part numbers back into it, if you don't mind. That would just make me happy. And I'm going to have a single line of text. I'm going to require that it contains information. And you might think, oh, that's going to be a little bit of a fit, and it is, because I already have items that are here. But that's okay. We're going to index it. And it knows, by the way, that you would think it would be throwing an error here and going, wait a minute, you required part numbers, where are they? It won't give me a problem with stuff that already exists, but it would not let me put a new item in without a part number. So if I went in and I said that we had a green tea candle, you would think one would be able to spell candle. And I try to tab out of it. Notice it says, you've got to give me a value for part number, even though it sort of gave a pass to the ones that were here already. As soon as I touch or edit them, it's going to clamp down here and say, no, you really have to give me a part number. So this is, wax GRT 07, and it's going to like that. And then we have wax SPI 03, Soy, forgive my typing today. Okay, so everybody's here, and everybody else that gets added now is going to be required because I made part number a required field. And title, I also can't do something without title. That's not obvious in Datasheet View, but when I switch to Standard View, it sure is. When I'm entering somebody new, if I add a new item, you'll notice that your users should not have a problem. There's the red asterisk. That means this is required, this is required. And there's that descriptive text that I provided, okay, the first time to be able to take care of that. So let's say right now we want to create a list that doesn't show quantity in stock. And the deal here is that we want to actually export it to Excel, to a spreadsheet, and let somebody go out with a clean list that shows the title of the item, the part number, and they're going to write a quantity on hand. This is the old inventory, old physical inventory from last December. It's getting time for a new one. So the goal is I don't want to show quantity in stock. I don't want it to be here at all. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify the view or create a new view. Let's create a new view. I'm going to create a new standard view. That was weird. Because when I create a standard view, I automatically get a data sheet view, and I'm going to call this, let's call this account sheet, because that's what it will be. It's a public view. Users can always create their own personal views, but owners and contributors can create public views as well. And I don't want to include quantity in stock. And I don't even want to include attachments. I just want it to say title and part number. And I want it to be sorted by the title. There are 3 versions of title in here. Okay, this one, the ones that say linked will actually have a menu, and this one will have a separate icon that's an edit menu, and this won't let you have a hyperlink at all. So that's why this is our unique column, so I'm just going to go ahead and include the one with the edit menu. A great way to see which one you want is to try all 4 of those, and you'll decide which one you want pretty quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK here at the bottom. And here's my new view, and you'll notice this view does not have quantity on hand in it because I didn't include it. Notice here I can switch between all items that does have that and count sheet. Now, if I don't want anybody to ever see the quantity on hand, then I would be better off changing all items to not include the quantity on hand, because this is all the harder it is to switch to a different view right here. But that's how I hide it. I hide something by creating a view that doesn't include it.
Great. Thanks, Jenny.